Hi Dane, just wanted to give you a quick video about how to edit your site. I'm going to send you, if you haven't got the login credentials already, you should have gotten them, but I'll send them to you. So once you're logged in, you're going to see this little thing above the site. It's this little gray bar with a bunch of different things on it. So what that means is if you're logged in, you're going to see this stuff. That's edit page and edit with WP Bakery page builder, which is basically just a fancy editor that is added onto the site, and I usually add that on to every site I build for these guys so that it's a little bit easier to manage. So when you go to a page, and I happen to go to the thank you page because that's something I'm going to edit real quick for you just to show you something that's can be added on. So this area right here just has the text, we will be contacting you shortly, usually within 24 hours. So that's after they submit like a schedule repair, or there's a thing at the bottom here that they can add a photo to, and once they click that, then they get this page here. Okay, so just to make it a little more interesting, I'm going to go ahead and click edit with WP Bakery page builder on the top there. So you click that, and again, I'm logged in as an admin, which is the same as you will be. So then it reloads this section. You'll see that it adds a new header that's a blue header that has some interesting things that work different. So it has these little sections that are editable. Okay, so this is what's called a space, and that just means giving it a little edit space. So I can drag that around, and then there's some interesting little things here you can change. You can change different things about the rows and the columns, and then you can edit the column, and you can add it. You can add or subtract the column by doing that. So actually I want to add something. So I want to add a text block. Is the most basic thing you can add, I think. So you can just add that, and then it gives you this other edit window above, just to give you a place to type and add stuff. And I want to add like a special graphic that says thank you that I created for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and say add media, which is just basically add pictures or whatever whatever you want to add. So I can upload a file. And I happen to have this thank you thing that I created for you. These are the other things I've uploaded, photos and other things. So I'm going to select the thank you, and I'm going to say insert into page. And it takes a few seconds for it to actually insert. Then I want to make it a certain size. So I want to make it full size and see how it fits. So the way I did that is I just went back here and clicked the little edit pencil. So you click that, and it gives you some options. You can align it a certain way, make it a certain size. You can link to something, or in this case I don't want it to link to anything, I just want it to be there. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it centered, full size, link to none, which means just don't have it the link to anything, and then update. And then I'm going to go ahead and save changes. So then I saved it, and what it's going to do is and then I'll close after it's finished saving. And then the last thing you have to do after you're done editing this is I'm actually going to put the space below, so I can drag and drop this space anywhere I want. So it's just a little bit of space, but I'm just going to go ahead and put it below. Or actually I could put it above, I think, just so it's more centered. And then I'll just say update. And the right top here, I want to say update. Alright, click update. And then it should come up with a thing that says successfully updated. Okay, that's what you're looking for. So that's it. And then you can click this off with the little X, and then you go back to the site the way it was before you start editing. And you'll see the regular editor header here. If you're logged in, you're going to see that. So now when they get that picture up in the information, either through schedule or repair or the bottom form here, they'll get this page. It says thank you, and that looks styled similar to what your site is styled like. So I thought you'd enjoy that. So that's pretty much it, and you can go to other pages on your site and you can edit the same way. So some of this stuff is not editable very easily in the editor because this is actually a plugin. It's a different it's added in there with code and stuff like that. So there's some things that you won't want to mess with, but there's, all the text pretty much you can change. If you don't want to say a certain way, you can change all this stuff to be whatever you want it to be. So you would just go in here and click the same thing up here, and it changes the you should see it pretty rapidly come back with this little icon, and then it reloads the page in a different way that's kind of like broken up into sections where you can mess with stuff. So you can just change this. You could, let's say it opens a little editor window each time, and you basically have text that you can edit. You can resize this stuff a little bit, so you can actually drag it around a little bit. You can move the stuff, and it's fairly easy to deal with. I mean, you just you can just do whatever you need to. Let's just say we want to put by in lowercase there, and then just say save changes. Once it says back to save changes in blue, then you would say close, and remember to always go back up and say update. Okay, and that's the last step. So it actually takes what you changed and makes sure that this little light green thing's successfully updated here comes, and then it'll just go away. Then you can click the X and you can stop editing the site by just doing that, and it should just so that's fairly straightforward. It works pretty well. I found hardly any issues with that. There's a lot of things that you can't really edit with that, with the formatting and different things like that, but that's my job. I can do some really fundamental changes to the site for the styling if you need that. That's no problem at all. So anyway, gives you some access to change things and update the text, and you could do like photos and stuff too. In fact, I'll show you one more thing. If you go into before and after, here's all the photos, and if you go edit with WP Bakery page builder again, you get the little icon, and it's you can see that's working. Now it's got all these little columns and things that you can edit. It's basically loading the page very similarly to how you would experience it, but then now you've got all these little sections that kind of light up as you roll over them. So that's when you can edit something. Each of the little pictures has a little pencil, and it has a row and a column. You don't really have to mess with that, the blue and the orange part, just the green here. You can duplicate stuff, but it's probably better to just add another photo. I don't have one to add right now, but if you want to duplicate this, you can press the little icon that says duplicate, and then it makes a copy of it, and then you can go and edit that particular one, and this it just has a single image that you can change. So you just click it to take away the image, and then you go back in, and I'll just pick one that we're not going to keep, but let's say we just add that thank you. Then it's back into the editor, and then you say save changes, and then you'll see it changed to blue again, and then close. And then I could save that, but since it doesn't make sense to have thank you in there, I'm just gonna go ahead and delete it. It'll ask me if I really want to delete that, and I say yeah. And then I just say update. Again, you wait for it to update, and it'll have the little light green successfully updated come up, and then it'll disappear, and then you can press the X, and that should do it. And then you'll start loading the page pretty normally. So that's just a little tutorial. I'm happy to do a few more tutorials for you, or you can rewatch this several times to get the idea of how to edit your site. But it's fairly straightforward. It takes a little practice, but it should be doable. And it's obviously a lot easier for me because I'm this is what I do for a living. So if you get stuck, let me know and I'll help you. Okay. Thank you.